So all of you must have heard this news announced on the night of the 9th of May. New rule hits those who buy homes via trust to avoid ABSD. I have done my own research, got the updates from the company and law firms, but at the same time, with regard to whatever that is being said in this video, I hope to provide all of you some clarity, but this is definitely not legal advice. So for any one of you who had already bought a property under trust or done that on or before 9th of May or are presently contemplating purchasing a property under trust, do seek proper legal advice from practicing lawyers. And please do not be a cheapo, okay? Pay the right price and get good advice on how to draft and set up a proper trust. Alright, and with that said and out of the way, let us start the video. So what exactly does it mean to buy a property under trust? And why would someone set up such a structure? Well, this is normally done when you buy a property for your child whom is under 21 years old. And that is because 21 years is the legal age to own a property in Singapore. So there are two parts of this. The trustee, whom is the person who looks after and manages the trust, and the beneficiary, who ultimately should own this property. This is also done for legacy planning, where you purchase that property when your child is very young, for example 2 to 5 years old. You may collect rental on this property, you may sell it, repurchase again, and all proceeds can be used to fund your child's local or overseas education. It is also to safeguard your child's future, especially for business owners, where future unforeseen possible creditors have no claim. The creditors are able to claim from your personal assets, including your insurance, but they cannot touch the trust. Well, before the announcement and before our very first ABSD cooling measure, a lot of us work really hard to accumulate many properties in our lifetime, and finally we may only decide to gift these properties to our children depending on how they turn out as an adult. And because we all love properties so much, when these measures were introduced, it seems that buyers have possibly been abusing this strategy and started purchasing properties under trust with the mindset of escaping paying the ABSD instead of buying it for their child, the beneficiary. To elaborate, what this means is if a buyer owns 3 residential properties and if he decides to purchase a 4th, he will need to pay an ABSD of 25%. So for a $1.5 million property, there will be an additional $375,000 of stamp duty to be paid. But if he bought it under a trust, he only needs to pay the normal BSD, saving him the amount of $375K. And perhaps it was because people started to get envious as the rich got richer, or it was because these buyers were too smart for their own good, as these properties bought under trust were designed in a way where it was not straightforward and had terms in it. I will explain shortly. Let us take a look at what is the new measure all about. All trusts will be levied a ABSD of 35%. Do note that the normal BSD is still consistent, alright? You will get a refund if it's a straightforward trust, where you are buying for your beneficiary with no terms attached. And you can immediately apply for a refund once you exercise on the S&P. But you will not be eligible for any refund if the following happens, whereby it is not a straightforward, right? There is no vested beneficiary ownership at the time of the creation of the trust. The trust is revocable or varied. This is where you attach certain conditions to them receiving the assets. And the trust is contingent to an event happening, such as your child has to complete his master's degree. Okay? So this means that the trust is not straightforward, and of course, you have the right to state any conditions of the trust, but you will not be refunded the ABSD. So what about those of you who have already bought or purchased a property under trust and executed the trust before the 9th of May? All is good for you. No worries. You do not need to pay the ABSD. But do take note that if you sell this property and repurchase a property in future, you will then be subjected to pay the 35% ABSD. And again, at the time, you will need to ensure the property structure of your trust is done properly for you to qualify for a refund. Some examples for those of you who are affected by this change: if you have bought a property under trust in the resale market, you will need to prepare the 35% plus the BSD on top of the purchase price, and after which you can apply for a refund. So for a quick example, for a $1.5 million property, a total of $2.069 million is needed. Okay? But if you are buying a BUC, depending on which BUC you have purchased, you should be able to ease your cash flow because of the progressive payment structure. Therefore, if foundation is perhaps estimated another 9 months later, you should have already gotten back your 35% ABSD by then. Yep. So now this is a golden question we ask ourselves. Is this a cooling measure, and will it impact the real estate market? Personally, I think this was designed more towards preventing trustees from abusing this strategy and protecting the beneficiary, whom ultimately is supposed to be the reason why the property was purchased under trust in the first place. And purchasing a property under trust is by no means an easy feat, as there is no leverage nor can you use your CPF. Everything is in cash. So you can see that this affects a very small percentage of a affluent group of buyers with extra cash parked aside. And it definitely does not represent the broader group of buyers. Therefore, I don't see this news adversely affecting the market. Rather, I think for those of you who are still keen to purchase a property under trust, please, I repeat once again, do consult with a good lawyer or law firm that is very well versed in this area, and do not be cheap to save on your legal fees. With that said, thank you all for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, do remember to subscribe and hit on the notification bell so you'll be notified of any new videos released in this channel. See you and till next time.